There are over 17 million families in the UK and 20,000 parenting practitioners working to support them. In this programme, we follow the stories of 4 of them as they go about their various jobs, forging links between school and community, providing a one-stop shop for parents, challenging traditional notions of home life, and running parent support groups. At Woodlands Junior School in East London, it's the start of another busy day for Ghazala, the school's parent support advisor.
Good morning.
This morning, some parents are coming in to meet the school's governors.
This is for the parents to find out what the role of the governor is in school. At the moment, we do have a vacancy of a parent governor, and if they think that that's what they would like to do, then they can apply for it.
We are in quite a deprived area of the borough. We've got quite a high number of free school meals here. I think we're one of the highest in East London. And we have lots of challenges in terms of getting people to kind of participate and sort of the connection between the community and the school.
I'm Mike Lane, I'm the head teacher here.
The government started a pilot scheme for parent support advisors in 2006. The aim being to strengthen the relationship between school and parents.
I'm Ghazala Navaid, I'm the parent support advisor. I'm addressing the governors because I'm here to support the parents. I'm here for them in school.
Ghazala's role also takes in work outside the school, organising parenting classes.
We're going to the polyclinic, and we've arranged a parenting class over there. It's parenting, communication.
Despite the funding for classes, getting parents to attend isn't easy.
Thank you. Parenting is very stigmatized, and when I first started as a parent support advisor, I organized parenting class in our school, and I actually invited parents, stood in the playground and just asked them what they think about it, and the response was, what do you think? I'm not a good parent. What are you trying to tell me? It's difficult for parents to comprehend that parenting actually is communication, unless you actually talk to them and explain it to them.
The parenting course that Ghazala has helped organise is in its final week.
What we're looking at is things that we've talked about over the last 5 weeks.
The first one I picked up was nurture yourself, make time for you, take time to recharge your batteries. I think that's really important, and that's been an important lesson for me because I never used to look after myself.
I've chosen being assertive. That's important because you are encouraging your children to be positive.
I've got another one. We all need to take time out sometimes to calm down.
What I do to her, I say count to 10 your favourite cartoon characters.
Yeah.
And that's what you do in yoga as well. You count and you do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped because then she ends up laughing because she knows that mummy's tricking me.
Yeah.
I'd noticed on the breakfast television in the morning they were talking about parenting classes, but it was very negative. It was all about, the government's trying to create more of a nanny state, and the government's telling us this, now they're telling us how to rear our children. Parents think they're going to be told how to be parents, when all it really is a good old sounding board for parents. For me, it was brilliant. People were dealing with problems, and they were quite surprised when they heard there was another way of dealing with it. Really, I really think it's invaluable, and people should give it a go.
We've got Mrs. Navaid here who's really friendly, really supportive, interacts, but sometimes the teachers, they don't interact with the parents. And then the parents feel really isolated and they feel they can't trust the teachers and they can't speak to the teachers.
For a child to achieve, it's a partnership with the parent and the school. And unless we involve the parents, we cannot work with the child on our own. And my role as a parent support advisor is, I call it a bridge between the school and the parent, because teachers don't have so much time for the parents.
During the pilot, 20 local authorities were involved, but now over 10,000 schools have PSAs, and the government has decided to expand the scheme nationwide.
When you've got parents inside, the children are completely different, because that passion for learning, that if the parents have that's reflected in the child's attitude and towards learning.
It's 1 week to go until the Christmas fair, and tonight Ghazala is chairing the last after-school planning meeting before the big day.
You've seen the poster that Farhana's created. She's coming to the meeting. She just found that she's running a bit late. Today we need to allocate who's going to run which stall.
Okay. I'll do the tombola for you.
Okay, so
The Parents' Association is still small at Woodlands, and getting volunteers isn't easy.
can I ask you to be at the food stall? Because
Parents can have bad memories of school,
he can do the lucky dip.
so a vital part of Ghazala's job is helping overcome this obstacle. It's Friday evening, and school is finishing for the week, but Ghazala has one more errand before she goes home.
I work with a selective mute child, and she's in year 5. She doesn't talk in school, whereas at home she's fine. She talks with her parents, other children. She's fine outside. As soon as she walks into the gate, she doesn't say a word. So I've been working with her for the past couple of months, some sessions in school, and I've done quite a few sessions at home as well. So I think these are the 2 books I'm going to take with me tonight. She speaks Urdu. I speak Urdu and Punjabi, Hindi, and I can communicate with people who speak Bengali and Gujarati as well. Assalamu alaikum. Kaise? Can you read this Urdu word? What do you call it, shoe in Urdu? Juta. है ना? Juta. If I read in Urdu, would you be able to follow it with your finger? Would you be able to do that? Okay, let's read this. मैं तेज और बहुत अच्छा चलती हूँ. Come on, and then you follow it now. जब के, put your finger on the word so that I know that you can.
Neha suffers from an anxiety disorder called selective mutism. Although she feels comfortable speaking at home, in the social context of school she is unable to talk.
And fantastic when I'm not stuck in traffic. We'll both make a family tree, right? This one?
Ghazala hopes that by visiting her at home with her family, she'll be able to encourage her to speak.
Do you want to write down their names? It's very draining work because obviously, you know, I'm the one who's talking all the time with her. But I'm sure, you know, one day she will start speaking, and I think that's what I'm waiting for. All right, Neha, I'm going to go now. Okay, Jilla Hafiz. Good morning, Woodland Junior School.
Although the role is wide-ranging, much of the work primary school PSAs do is around behaviour and attendance. Today she is off to visit the home of a child who hasn't been coming to school.
Yesterday I had a phone call from the parent saying that, you know, yes, we are home and would you like to come and see us? So I'm going there. I'm hoping to see the child as well. We've got 2 weeks Christmas holidays coming up, and they have got 2 weeks to, you know, take them abroad. There's no need to take time off during term time. So, you know, it's their choice. Hi, good afternoon. Just to let you know, I'm outside the house now, and I'll be, you know, if I see the parent, I'll be going in. If not, then I'll come straight back to school. Okay then, see you then. Bye. Okay, that's it. Because sometimes if I do need help, just in case of an angry parent, then the school knows that I'm here. I can just, you know, give them a ring again and they can send some help. Okay? Okay, they're not home, and I presume that they're not in the country. So I'm just going, I've left my card for them and I'm just going back to school now. I found school that I'm coming back. And I will try to ring the parent again. If not, then we'll just wait for 10 days and on the 11th day we'll just take the child's name off roll.
Ghazala was a teaching assistant, a very, very good teaching assistant, and an opportunity came up from the authority to actually join the pilot scheme that was across the country. Ghazala applied for it, which we're very pleased about. We had an interview and she got the job. And she's just sort of woven her way into everything through the school. And because she obviously speaks the community languages, the parents, will come to her. And to the time the pilot ran out and the money was withdrawn, it was very, very hard to actually let her go.
It will be easier, isn't it?
She works with the families whose children find it difficult to get to school. I mean, she's even been known to go out and buy an alarm clock and things like that for them.
We need a chair for the Santa.
It just makes life easier all round to have somebody who's that very, very involved with the parents.
If it wasn't for Ghazala Navaid, then a lot of these kind of activities wouldn't take place.
Henna!
It's £1 a strip.
That's it?
Yeah.
Can I have 2 strips then?
Yeah, sure. She wants to be fair.
Yeah.
That's good to be fair.
Yeah.
Have you been fair to your kids?
I have, look.
You bought 2?
I bought 2.
How many kids have you got?
3.
Have you been fair?
Yes.
My own kids, they just laugh at me that, God, you love school so much. But I think where there's passion, you have to love your job. And I think this PSA role is so much me. In the morning, I'm just so vibrant, so happy to come to school. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's really rewarding. The head really supports me, the school staff, and it's really exciting working in this environment. It's just like a family. It's a great school.
Just down the road in Barking at Eastbury Comprehensive School, the parent support advisor is Stavey Primus. At the start of every day, her main task is combating absenteeism.
Attendance is usually one of the triggers that you notice that give the indicators of something's not right. I think you do need the stick and the carrot. Sometimes what you do need is that letter that says, do you realise that if your child is not in education, it is your responsibility? The threat of prosecution means that they can sit up, but also you still got me there saying, okay, is there anything that I can physically do, practically do to support you in managing anything else that's interfering with your ability to support your child in being at school?
Stavey has been in post for 7 months, but is actually employed by an outside charity, not the school.
I managed to call myself a caller back.
She believes this helps her maintain a neutral position between teachers and parents.
Teachers are very good at communicating with parents, but they have a lot of other things to do as well. So they may just let me know that this child is having some issues around settling in, and if there's anything that I can do to assist in getting communication to parents, and vice versa. There may be issues that are happening with the child outside of school. So having a parent have a key name of somebody who they can come into and have a hotline to, basically, to say, look, there's been some major changes in the family. You might notice a slight change in my child's behaviour, if you could just keep an eye out. So it means that I can just hotline everybody and say, look, this is briefly what's happening in that family. So, the child might be tearful, they might not be concentrating very well because they're worried about a sick parent. So it's just really sort of trying to bridge the gap between what's happening out there for the child in the home and in the community with school, because they do impact each other.
As parents rarely accompany their children to secondary school, a large part of Stavey's job is outreach work and finding appropriate service providers.
On my caseload, at least anyway, a lot of the young boys have absent fathers, and so there isn't that sort of strong male role model around, and oftentimes they're not really sure about making the link between education and their future.
This morning, Stavey is off to meet someone who might be able to help.
We are going to an organisation called The Vibe, but it's actually an offshoot is called Link Up, which is a mentoring programme that Barking and Dagenham are supporting, and it's specifically for young people who are at risk of being not in education or employment or training.
Our role is to recruit members of the public, and we train them to be volunteer mentors to young people working with them on a one-to-one basis.
Okay, and I take it, because obviously one of the things is, obviously they're going to be checked and so forth, aren't they? All CRB, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, they all have CRB enhanced disclosures.
Yeah. If I've got a young person who's 13 years old, and he or her attendance is sort of like around about the 50%, mum is illiterate, she can't read or write, he's struggling with his homework, and he finds it difficult to mix with people, so he's a bit of a loner. If I was to refer somebody like that, could you tell me how you might be able to support, or if at all?
Yeah, well, what we would hope to do is work in tandem with other services that are available. And for a young person such as the one you've described, I would imagine that a common assessment framework should have been done with them.
Yeah.
And then that would bring together not only ourselves but other professionals that could support that young person and the family. So we could be looking at family support workers or whatever. We would be looking at providing that young person with a male mentor, and we would try to match them with some sort of commonality there. There would be some sort of common ground. Either it could be something to do with their background, something they're interested in doing.
That sounds good.
Some sort of skill that the mentor already has that he could give to that young person. Mentors are a significant adult role model outside of the family. They're not meant to replace parents in any way, and by using people that have got lots of experiences in their lives, just being ordinary people in today's society helps the young people to draw on those experiences and move forward with their own lives. We do have a leaflet for young people. That's this one.
Oh, brilliant.
And it doesn't look like it's very informative on the front, that's just the contact details, but on the back it gives quite a lot of information to the young person about what a mentor is, because lots of young people don't always understand. To have somebody that's actually taking time out of their own life to volunteer, to spend time with you, to be interested in your life, that really has a positive impact on them and makes them understand that there are people that care about their future, and also gives them that feeling that they also should care about their future.
That would be really useful, because that can actually help when I'm talking to them. Can I take some of those?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I've got a few there for you. I can always send you some more if you need them.
There are so many agencies, as you see the amount of agencies that I have to work with, and oftentimes parents don't know where to start. Having a parent support advisor means that they've got a focal point, one person that they can constantly refer back to. So if they need support in accessing a head of year, they know who to call. If they need support in managing their debts, they know who to call. If they want to go back to employment, they've got one access point. And it's my job to be fully aware of what services are available within the borough, which is why I make links personally with them, so that I can be the best referrer, the best source of information for my parents to get the support what they need, whatever, regardless of what it is.
Back at Eastbury, Stavey has a visit from a mum whose son has some personal problems, which are preventing him from coming into school.
Do you want a cup of tea or coffee, you think, Tracy?
No, thank you, I'm fine.
Oh, okay, really good. Oh, well, how is Tommy? Because Tommy, he's been having difficulties in adjusting into school at the moment, and we looked at getting him into the support centre, Erkham Ward Centre. And how did that go? Because I know you had an interview with them on Friday.
Yep. It went fine.
Yeah.
They showed Tommy around the school.
Oh, good.
He is a bit anxious still, because after all that's why he's going there. My child started Eastbury School. He settled in fine for 3 weeks, but then he became really nervous and anxious. He had a little bullying trouble.
In the beginning, it was. We thought it was just an issue that he had around bullying, and the head of year spoke to them. Both parents were met, all the families met together with the head of year, and everybody thought it was sorted.
I was introduced to Stavey, and she's been a great support. She's helped us along the way of finding different structures in the school of how we could support Tommy.
But when Tommy was now getting ready to come back into school, every time he was coming towards the gate, he'd start getting anxious, start shaking and things like this.
However, he does realise that eventually he will come back here, which he wants. You know that. He says that inside, doesn't he? I want to be with my friends. I want to be back at school, but it's just finding that confidence again and overcoming his anxieties.
So is he your cheeky little chappy back, or?
Well, yes, he does. More than cheeky, but it's just that he's just got all these feelings trapped inside, and hopefully we'll overcome this step by step.
Arifa Naeem works for Family Action in Slough. In her role as family support worker, she's involved in a unique project to provide parenting support to Slough's large Muslim community. The project aims to help integrate Muslim parents into multicultural Britain while respecting their cultural and religious heritage.
A lot of families that I'm working with at the moment, it's from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and culturally, like they are allowed to hit the children because this is how their parents brought them up. Shouting, screaming is very normal in the house, and they think it's acceptable. And some of them were thinking it's also acceptable because they are the parents, they have the right, even religiously they have the right over the children. They have to always, the children's right is that they always have to respect and obey the parents. When we start doing the research, we found that, you know, in Islam there are so many children's rights. You know, it's the equal. The parents have to respect the children has to respect the parents. But I think the parents were missing the children's right part, which we just bring up in Islamic values.
With her current group, working with Muslim parents, Arifa explores this issue by combining Islamic values with Family Links nurturing programme.
Family Links program is based on 4 constructs, which is positive discipline, appropriate expectations, empathy, and self-awareness and self-confidence. When I start working with Muslim community, the Islamic values comes up. So mainly the program is the same, and we don't have to change anything in the program.
Arifa co-runs the Muslim parents group with Zaida Ishfaq. Each week they meet up to share feedback on the last meeting and prepare for the next one.
So what do you think, how did the last week went, the sex education one? I think it was really good because women were really benefiting from it. Most of them didn't know that, you know, in Islam, how important it is to give your children the sex education. What do you think about it?
I think lots of them, they were quite happy when they heard that even Islam, you know, doesn't oppress all this. It talks openly about sex. And then when we gave the Quranic ayahs, they felt relief, and they said that they learned a lot. And they're quite pleased that it goes hand in hand with their values.
The local mosque is fully behind the Muslim parents group and even provides the venue for their meetings.
A lot of women who are coming here, they won't be able to come in at any other community centre.
My name is Nadia. I'm married. I have 5 children. I feel more secure there, and obviously it's a holy place where everybody comes to do their prayers. I mean, my husband didn't have any objection coming there because it was in the mosque. Maybe if it were elsewhere, he would have thought about it twice.
Arifa has been working for Family Action in Slough for the past 4 years.
In Pakistan, I was working as a community worker there, and when I came to this country after I got married 10 years ago, I just want to do a community work because as an Asian person myself, coming from that background, I thought I understand much more. I had the deeper understanding that what's happening in the grassroots level in the family. Next week is about problem solving and negotiating behavior to ignore. It's week 9. I think after welcome, we will let them choose whichever game they want to play.
Interactive games are used as a warm-up tool, but the group's real strength is that it's conducted almost entirely in Urdu.
You can ask
one of your favorite memories.
मेरा कॉलेज लाइफ काफ़ी अच्छी गुजर गई है और उसके बाद जब मैंने बच्चों के साथ चावे नर्सरी में जब मैं काम करती थी 5 साल मैंने वहाँ काम किया है which was a really good time and अब घर में जब मैं अपने बच्चों के साथ होती थी it's a totally different life.
It's wonderful to hear other people's problems as well, and then you feel you're not in the separate boat, you're all in the same boat.
नहीं जाए मेरा पेट दर्द कर रहा है.
Stop making such a fuss. मुझे जाना है, आपको पता है मुझे ट्रेन पकड़नी है, जाना तो है फिर भी.
With our experience, we learned that people pick up the things very quickly through role play.
नहीं जाए मेरी टमी हर्ट हो रही है.
अच्छा चले मैं आपको कटल लेती हूँ, तो मैं जब तक वापस आती हूँ फिर
मैं भी आपको मिस करूँगी.
मैं भी आपको मिस करूँगी.
If I explain briefly about problem solving and how the decision making and negotiating link together, and then we can and you can bring the Islamic point of view from it.
अल्लाह ताला फरमाते हैं सूरत आल इमरान में है 159 तो उनको माफ़ करो दरगुजर करो और उनके लिए अल्लाह से माफ़ी तलब करो और उनसे मशवरा करो जो तुम्हारे मामलात हैं उनके बारे में और जब तुम कोई राय पे कोई जगह पे पहुंच जाओ कोई समझ पे पहुंच जाओ फिर तुम अल्लाह पे अपना यकीन डाल दो और अल्लाह पे तवक्कल करो क्योंकि अल्लाह तवक्कल करने वालों को बहुत पसंद करता है. ठीक है,
मतलब मेनली वही है कि आपने नेगोशिएट करना है और मसलहत से काम लेना है.
To illustrate how to avoid family arguments through negotiation, Arafa uses everyday examples from the women's lives.
I mean, all of them are from Pakistan. And I'm from Pakistan, so we know that in negotiating, going to the markets, we have to use this skill all the time. And when we give this example in the group, they quickly understand what the negotiating means. Otherwise, they were struggling to understand how we can do that.
It's not like the father, he just gives the orders and that's it. So father has to negotiate with the children, understand their views, compromise. So you have a relationship, you know, love and companionship, affection.
तो अपना पर्सन जो आपके राइट हैंड पे है उसको आप हग करें. ठीक है? It's just more about, you know, love, affection, and coming closer to each other. Through Family Links program, we just tell them that, you know, by understanding feelings of your children, you can develop better relationship not just with your children but with the whole family. And there are different strategies to use to make children to understand your point of view instead of just shouting, screaming and hitting.
With the penultimate week of the group over, the signs are that it's making a real difference to the community.
It's really good. It's made me open up a lot more. I've learnt a lot from it. It's built up my confidence. I mean, I wouldn't have spoken up before, but I've learned how to do that.
On the first day when the woman is coming, and on the 10th day, they are totally a different person. They are more confident, their life is changing, they start looking after themselves, and they start applying the strategies and tools of nurturing program.
There's lots of things I've learnt. Now I'm looking at the child's point of view, thinking before I say anything what the child will feel, using the correct words, giving them more time, obviously.
In Islam, it's all talk about to be kind, to look after each other, and to be responsible, to behave like a responsible parent. And basically sometimes it's some of the families I worked with previously, they were quite confused between culture and religion. And this is just to clear that confusion, that most of the things that we do is culture, it's not religious. Because religion is telling you to be kind with your children.
Over at the Thornton Road Family Centre in Sutton, the aim is also to do the best for our children. The centre is located in a converted house and provides a range of parenting and childcare services. Angela Goodwin is the parenting coordinator and health lead at Thornton Road. New in post, she's eager to do well and keen to make a big impression.
This building's been here for quite some time. Before we were the Early Intervention Prevention Service, we ran groups from here before. But this is very much about being in the centre, the hub of the community.
The Thornton Road Centre is home to the Early Intervention and Prevention Service, a collaboration between local children's centres, social services and schools.
We've only been running for 18 months, so there's a lot going on.
And kind of continually evolving. We're lucky because
Yeah.
we've got such a wealth of different experiences in the team with play therapists, family therapists, early years practitioners, family support workers, social workers. You know, there's a lot of scope for really thinking about families' needs and how we can approach them maybe slightly differently.
Yeah, it's another tool in the toolkit, isn't it?
In her role as parenting coordinator, Angela's primarily involved with a programme imported from America called Incredible Years. This programme is designed for families with children up to the age of 8 or 9. It's all about empowering parents to be more confident and involves lots of work around play, listening and empathy.
The parenting program is not just about some message that the people that are on it are somehow struggling with their parenting. It can also be about people are choosing to come on that because they want to get even better at their parenting.
When you first have one child, you know, when you have your first child, you need come here, sit on mommy's lap. Good boy. The first one, you need just to adjust with, start to have a child in your life and be a parent for the first time, and you don't know what you're doing. You just do whatever you can and as best as you can. Calm down, darling. Calm down. And it's hard, but then you get the second one, and that's when things go really, really difficult.
Elsa is mum to 3-year-old Gabriel and baby Lucas. Her health visitor noticed that she was struggling to cope at home and referred her to Angela's group at a local children's centre. The group runs for 12 weeks and is nearing its end.
We're doing time out. Time out is an effective way for children to stay calm, to calm down, but we leave it to the end so that we can undertake all the work around the parent, the praise. So we've got the foundations of the group.
Hi, Lauren. How are you? Hi. How's everyone? Okay.
Yeah, Sunday was really, really difficult, and it just tested me to my limits. With I used the ignoring because he was whinging and just not, just been really, really difficult and not giving in because that's the way he is too. He's very persistent little boy, and so he will go to to the limit of the situation to get what he wants.
You said you were ignoring when he was whining.
Yeah.
Can you remember the situation?
The cup where he drinks milk, he wanted it on the floor, just on the floor. But I told him no, because he's going to spill, and put it on the table. And he was bringing it and put it on the floor. And he was really stubborn and just doing his way. Going. I put it back on the table and I said, now stays here, that's it. And I just turned my back on him.
Brilliant.
And then he came back to pick it up, and I said, if you pick it up, I'm gonna put you in timeout for 3 minutes. And he just stopped and he cried and then whinged for the whole afternoon.
What did you do?
I ignore him the whole afternoon. I'm getting better with ignoring. Before I would ignore, but inside me I would feel myself. I was bubbling.
And they're feeling the tension. You remember how you are behaving. You remember we talked about ignoring, no eye contact, no verbal contact, calm posture.
Yeah.
If any of those aren't there, then he'll pick that up. So if you're tense, he'll pick that up. So it's about doing all that.
I didn't know that other people had the same problems that were like mine, So when we met and we realized that we had children exactly the same age, and we were going through almost exactly the same problems, so you kind of like you kind of realize that it's just a phase. It's just something that happens to all children when they are this age.
Lauren reads to the group from her homework on the past week's events.
Not getting dressed in the morning has been quite an issue. Not sure if Callum's a little bit poorly. Last couple of days he's been very whiny, very irritable, very frustrated with himself. pushing my patients quite a lot, just screaming at me either for no reason or because he wanted something. I was sort of trying so hard to sort of bring myself down, and not get too cross with him. But so I got myself dressed, got Ryan dressed. We had our coats on, and he still hadn't had his shoes on after a lot of fighting. And we waited by the front door. We sort of waited by the front door and watched the rain, watched the other children going to school while Callum was sort of rolling around screaming. And then he eventually said to me, "Mummy, I need your help." And so I said, "Oh, okay then." And then I helped him put his shoes on and praised him, got in the car and then...
That's lovely. So he was able to actually say to you, "I need your help," and he was able to...
Yeah.
And because we like to praise the parents a lot during the group, so we have orange flavoured Kit Kats and plain Kit Kats. If they've done something really good, they'll get an orange one. Thank you.
We put our weight on this group, don't we? We do lots about praising for the parents, how they feel. Some parents have never been praised.
I used to sort of get a tight chest, I used to panic, I used to shake. Going outside, it would be a nightmare. I'd think, I just don't want to go, I just don't want to go anywhere. It was just like shopping or getting in and out of the car, getting dressed, just everyday things that it was like deja vu every day. And 9 times out of 10, it was always me that got hurt through sort of waving arms and legs flying about.
It's about giving them tools to be able to parent confidently. That's the important thing. That's really, really important. I can stand there and tell parents what to do. They're not going to take any notice of me. It's for them to make the decision to change. And they do. And they love it. And you can actually see the way they change during the group. It's fantastic.
It's Angela and Hannah and Zoe, and also with Elsa and other people in the group. You know, they make you feel like you belong. And also what it is it's like very informal, so you don't feel like you're put on the spot or anything. Like if you don't want to say anything, you don't have to say anything.
We had a bit of a stamping the feet at the traffic lights, because what happened was when we get to the traffic lights, it's always a race between Georgie and Sophie, who wants actually to press the button.
The thing is, everybody's got different experiences and different ways of coping with different strategies. And what I like about the group is that we all share, and we all take it in turns to say anything. And you know, if for one person, it might well for another person, isn't it? So I never felt it wasn't for me.
It's very, very important to start the parenting groups as soon as possible and to get confidence and to normalise parenting.
It's learning how limits set in and time barriers, and you know how important different situations are, like with behaviour, and how to sort of focus on the positive and not always on the negative, because you can, you know, when you're having a bad day, have lots of negative issues, but then you have to see things outside the box basically. Yeah, and there's no tears, it's all fake tears.
Don't forget, it will get worse before it gets better. Yeah. We said that, didn't we? You know, it's a new thing that's happening. Why isn't Mummy listening to me? Why isn't she responding to me? And you're not doing that, because if you're turning away, you've got the ignoring, and that's something different. So it will. It's not about that he's in pain or he's in distress. He just wants your attention. Yeah.
Well, I've learned a lot of techniques to manage my child behavior, and I have learned to control myself, because that's sometimes the problem too.
The group's over, but Angela's day isn't. She pays a visit to Rushy Meadow Primary to see if she can persuade the Senko, Sue Hennessy, to start a parenting group at the school.
Main things is to ensure that the venue is suitable.
Beautiful kitchen as well, because we like to use the kitchen.
To ensure that there's the time.
This is a lovely venue. Excellent.
To make sure it fits around the time that the building's open. Make sure it's comfortable for the parents and for the children. For example, the creche isn't too far away.
So what we can do is we can separate it, and the children can be on one half and we can be on the other.
We provide the creche.
Right.
So we'll provide the creche. We'll provide all the paperwork that's required, and the refreshments, and obviously the staff.
Lots of parents, if they have to take children to outside agencies, we get
we find they've been discharged because they've not attended, because it's difficult for them to get there. You know, if they've got buggies, they haven't got cars, and getting on buses and things like that. So we're hoping that because it's on site, we'll have a much better attendance.
Being a parent is never easy. As much as you can say, it's never easy. Some kids are easier than the others, it's true, but there will always be a moment that you're going to have doubts and you're going to have worries, and you're going to maybe not to know what to do. So I think parenting courses are really, really useful, and I reckon that everybody should attend one.
Well done.